Hi, my name is Garrison Davis, and I'm the founder and CEO of Little Bob Technologies. Just to touch on Little Bob briefly, we're a public benefit corporation with the mission to empower communities through profit sharing community solar farms, especially serving underserved areas. And the way we do this is by organizing within the community to teach people about renewable electricity. Then from there, getting them to subscribe to the solar farm as we build it. Once the solar farm's up and running and they're purchasing the electricity, we take a portion of every payment they make and we put it or we loan it to ourselves in order to build a new project in a new underserved community. We also take another portion of their payment and we put it into what's called a community action fund. This fund can be used in order to give out mini grants to different organizations doing activities within the community or microloans to different businesses or startups within the community in order to help spur innovation and economic mobility. And so currently, as of today, we have 3 members on the Salem team, myself, Kevin Mitchell, and Naledi Gordy. But originally, it was just me. And this was back in February when we first decided to switch to Salem, New Jersey. Originally, I planned to be in Alabama. However, things ended up changing, and I didn't have any team members to really lean on, and I only had one contact who didn't even live in the city of Salem. But he did have a organization and a team there who I was able to make a pitch to and get my first team member, Kevin Mitchell. Now, despite not having any team members originally, I did have goals and I did have initial strategy. The initial goal or the goals were to reach 2,000 first contacts with the community, as well as get 300 signups for our mailing list, as well as connect with 15 local organizers, establish relationships with at least 10 community-based organizations, and engage the communities through at least 4 different events that were hosted or attended by us. The initial strategy to getting this done was to connect with the local organization, really hire them to do the outreach, and then focus my time and effort on developing a solar project. It became very clear to me that that wasn't going to work because ultimately a change of thinking would be required. See, it was necessary to be hands-on in the community. That's how you gain respect, and that's how you come to understand people. And ultimately, that's the end goal here, is to really better understand the community. At least in those early days, we really needed to know what the community was dealing with. Additionally, we wanted to gauge their level of knowledge around renewable electricity and clean energy. And as a result, in order to get this information, we knew that asset mapping was absolutely required. Now, by my definition, asset mapping means connecting with community leaders and identifying different resources that are in the community that can be leveraged to meet the goal. And so that's exactly what we set out to do. The first thing we did was we created a survey. Our approach involved asking people and really starting to pick their brains about what they thought about clean energy, how they felt about the future of their city and where clean energy stood on their hierarchy of needs. And in order to better understand the community itself, we decided to reach out to local leaders to understand, what people are going through. Then also, where can we meet them, and how can we find them? Ultimately, we were able to figure out some of those issues that were facing the community. And through the local leaders, they put us in the right direction. We got a lot of warm receptions from people, but not everybody was receptive to us being there. And this is really where my first lesson came in, is that you can't always be the star, even if it's your show. And as a result, our strategy sort of changed. We started to send different people on our team to talk to different organizations and people just based on what our reception was in the past and how we relate to them. That's one way we worked around this lack of warmth, but another way was just by being consistent. These communities have a lot of people come in and out, and they take advantage of the people who live there. But the fact that we were there constantly and we were learning people's names, we were talking to them consistently, it really meant a lot, and you could see that. We also offered our resources. One problem that we learned was that, clean water was a problem in Salem. And so as a result, we used the ERC money to purchase water in order to give out to people for free. And when they came over and talked to us, we were able to ask them about clean energy and get a survey response. Lastly, making clear asks was a huge change in our approach. Originally, we walked in and we were just sort of broad with our asks, just asking for support. But eventually, we came in with direct asks and pointed requests, and people were a lot more responsive and a lot more willing to help us once we did that. Now, when it comes to the survey itself, our strategy was really to ask people about the cost of utilities and really gain their knowledge, understand what they know about clean energy and what's their willingness to engage. Our overall strategy was really to focus on in-person meetings and ask questions that were a mix of open-ended and closed-ended questions. Not only that, because we wanted to do in-person, but we were only 2 people at the time, we really targeted big events. So block parties, food giveaways, opportunities to connect with people on a wide scale. And when we did so, we brought food in order to attract them to us. Now, in the end, despite all these challenges, we were actually able to meet the majority of our goals and far exceed many of them. For the first contacts, originally we just wanted to get 2,000. We ended up getting 3,565. And for those email additions, we originally shot for 300. We ended up getting 492 emails added to our email list. Our events, we wanted to host or be a part of at least 4 events. We decided to actually host our own events on a weekly basis and participate in other weekly events, and ended up getting 22 as a result. The places we fell short, just barely short of our letters of support and connecting with organizations, having only gotten 9 out of 10 letters of support. And then we were only able to connect with 10 out of 15 organizers. But I have no doubt with a few more weeks, we would have reached both of those. A really big help in what we were doing was the ERC advertising interns to the University of Arizona. With them, we were able to create flyers and posters, which actually allowed us to connect with our audience in a new way. What we're bringing to the table was something that was completely unfamiliar to them, and as a result, we had to make it visual so people could see. And once we put it on paper and put it in front of them and explained them and walked them through it, it made way more sense, and a lot more people responded even more positively. And in fact, we saw a huge change in knowledge and excitement about what we were doing. Now with that, the partner organizations in the community have made it clear that they want solar, ultimately. Our partner organizations, as well as the people who have even stopped us on the street to ask us if we're still doing our project. That in itself is a huge boost to what we do and adding to our confidence. Not only that, we've also managed to secure several MOUs from engineering firms and grant writing organizations. The engineering firm has agreed to do our site due diligence once we select a solar site. That means they'll go and determine whether or not the dirt is a good place to put solar. Additionally, we plan on partnering with one of our community-based organizations in order to host a grant writing workshop, and then following up that theory with the practice of collaborating on a grant together. In addition to this, we also hired a grant writer who's going to help us reach out to a SBIR grant. So the bigger picture, we're feeling more confident than ever heading into the end of Phase 2. Our first pilot project and pay it forward model is well underway, and we know that the money that would come from Phase 2 would actually help us take it a step further and be able to pay our engineers, as well as test out our community action fund by giving out some mini grants and seeing how people react to it. Now, we recognize this is bigger than solar. This is about community development, and we invite you to reach out and help us supply power for the people. Thank you.